95 minutes. 95 minutes of tension, frustration, and near misses. And then, in the chaos of stoppage time at Toronto's BMO Field, a 20-year-old from Coventry City wrote his name into World Cup history. Caleb Yirenkyi. Remember that name. Because Ghana's opening match against Panama was heading for a forgettable 0-0 draw. And then everything changed. How does a team that barely existed in the first half suddenly produce the most dramatic winner of this tournament so far? Welcome to SoccerVault, the place where we break down every twist, every turn, and every jaw-dropping moment from World Cup 2026. I'm your host, and today we are going deep on Ghana versus Panama. Let's get into it. Let's set the scene. Group L at this World Cup might just be the most brutal draw of them all. England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama, all crammed into the same pool. Going into this opener, Ghana were already fighting adversity before a ball was even kicked. Thomas Partey, out. Mohamed Kudus, injured, missing the entire tournament. Mohamed Salisu, same story. 3 of Ghana's biggest names, gone before the first whistle had even blown. Manager Carlos Queiroz was forced to lean heavily on captain Jordan Ayew, Brighton winger Antoine Semenyo, and a young, relatively inexperienced supporting cast that many pundits had written off before the tournament even started. Panama, on the other hand, came into this match desperate for something to write home about. They had entered this fixture having lost all 4 of their previous World Cup appearances. 4 matches, 0 points, 0 wins, 0 moments of glory. Against an injury-depleted Ghana side in their Group L opener, they knew this was their moment. This was their golden chance to finally end one of international football's most painful winless streaks. The stage was set, BMO Field in Toronto, a passionate, diverse crowd packing the stadium for kickoff, and what followed was 95 minutes of drama that absolutely nobody saw coming. Subsection 1. Panama's first half dominance. For the first 45 minutes of this match, Panama looked like the better team, and it wasn't particularly close. They controlled 64% of possession in the first half. 64%. Against a side that had lost 3 key players before a ball was kicked, the Panamanians were dictating the tempo, pressing high, winning second balls, and using their physicality to disrupt Ghana's build-up play at every turn. Ghana were disjointed in that opening period. Without Kudus as that creative spark in central midfield, the Black Stars looked blunt and disconnected in the final third. Jordan Ayew was working hard. He always does. That man runs through walls for his country. But the service simply wasn't coming. Chances were not being created. Ghana barely threatened the Panama goalkeeper in the first 45 minutes, struggling to string more than 3 or 4 passes together in dangerous areas. Panama, to their credit, were compact and organized at the back, while also looking dangerous on set pieces. They had 2 or 3 moments where you thought, this could be it. This could be the moment Panama score their first ever World Cup goal. But the Ghana backline, for all the chaos in front of them, held firm. At the halftime whistle, 0-0, Ghana in real trouble. Queiroz heading into the dressing room knowing he needed answers. And fast. Panama feeling confident, feeling like the momentum was theirs. The second half was going to define everything. Subsection 2, the second half transformation. Something changed after the break. I don't know exactly what Carlos Queiroz said in that dressing room. Whatever it was, it needs to go in a coaching textbook somewhere. Ghana came out for the second half looking like a completely different team. The intensity was sharper, the pressing was higher, and the player at the center of every single good moment? Antoine Semenyo. The Brighton winger was absolutely reckless in the best possible way, drifting inside, driving at defenders, constantly threatening to unlock that well-organized Panama backline. As the match crept past the hour mark, both teams began to open up. The tactical discipline that had defined the first half started to fray at the edges. Panama were pushing forward, desperate for the goal that might give them their first-ever World Cup win. Ghana were hitting the Panamanians on the counter with increasing menace. Chances were finally coming. but the goalkeepers on both sides kept refusing to be beaten. 75 minutes, 80 minutes, 85 minutes. The clock crept relentlessly forward into the 5 additional minutes of stoppage time, still 0-0. The BMO field crowd was on its feet, collectively holding its breath. Ghana pushing forward one more time, Panama defending with everything they had. And then, subsection 3, the goal. Yirenkyi makes history, 94 minutes and 4 seconds. That's when it happened. And if you blinked, you missed it. Antoine Semenyo received the ball deep inside the Panama half and immediately began to drive forward, pulling the defense out of shape. Semenyo, brilliant all night in the second half, slipped the ball to Thomas-Asante, who was charging down the left channel with his tail up and defenders scrambling to cover. Thomas-Asante, all power and pace, drove into the penalty area and whipped in a low, precise cross along the 6-yard box. And there was Yirenkyi, arriving at exactly the right moment, from exactly the right angle, tapping the ball into an empty net from close range. 1-0. The stadium erupted. At 20 years and 153 days old, Yirenkyi became the second youngest player ever to score for Ghana at a World Cup, and his goal, at 94 minutes and 4 seconds, is officially the latest ever scored by the Black Stars in the tournament, excluding extra time. He plays for Coventry City in England's championship. Tonight, he looked like he belonged on the grandest stage of all. Panama stood frozen in stunned silence. Ghana's bench poured onto the touchline in celebration. Carlos Queiroz, arms raised, emotion etched across his face. And the 2026 World Cup had its most dramatic late winner. So far. Here's my hot take, and I genuinely want to hear if you disagree in the comments. Ghana got lucky tonight. Yes, they got 3 precious points. Yes, Semenyo was unplayable in patches. But this was a team that for the first 60 minutes looked rudderless against Panama, a side that had never won a single World Cup game in their entire history. If Carlos Queiroz doesn't find a midfield solution fast, then England on June 23rd in Foxborough is going to be a very uncomfortable evening for the Black Stars. Jordan Ayew, at 33 years old, is still giving every last drop for this team, and I respect that immensely. But Ghana need more than heart and grit when they face the likes of Thomas Tuchel's 3 Lions, who just dismantled Croatia 4-2 in Dallas. Kane, Bellingham, Rashford, that England attack is going to expose every single gap in Ghana's midfield. This win was priceless for Group L. 3 points in the bank from a tournament opener is never something to take lightly. But the manner of the victory should have every Ghana fan cautiously nervous rather than fully euphoric. The scoreline flatters them, the injury crisis is real, and the hardest tests are still to come. So where does Group L stand after Matchday 1? England lead the table with 3 points after that stunning 4-2 win over Croatia. Harry Kane's brace, Jude Bellingham's goal straight from the restart, and Marcus Rashford adding a late 4th. Ghana are second on 3 points, separated from England only by goal difference. Croatia and Panama find themselves on 0 points and already facing real pressure. Panama needing to face Croatia on June 24th in Toronto in what is essentially a must-not-lose fixture for both sides. The next critical match for Ghana, England versus Ghana on June 23rd in Foxborough, USA. That match could define this entire group. Can Queiroz's injury-ravaged Black Stars hold firm against the tournament favorites? Can Semenyo conjure another performance like tonight against a far more dangerous opponent? This group is going to deliver fireworks right to the very end. Do not sleep on it. Ghana 1-0 Panama. A 95th-minute winner. A 20-year-old hero. And a Group L that is already set up for one of the great final day showdowns at this World Cup. If this breakdown got you fired up, smash that like button. It genuinely helps us reach more soccer fans around the world. Subscribe to SoccerVault so you don't miss a single match breakdown from World Cup 2026. We are covering every angle, every talking point, every moment of controversy. And drop your take in the comments right now. Can Ghana actually make it out of Group L? Or will England send them crashing home? I want your predictions. I want the debate. I'll see you in the very next one.